Roger, wake up.
What?
You promised we'd do the podcast today.
That was today?
Yeah, you forgot?
Yeah, I kind of did. Can we just do that tomorrow?
Never put off until tomorrow. What can be done today?
Fine. Ugh. I'll do what I must.
All right, welcome to the Bearded Buyer Podcast. I'm Carter, and I'm joined by my friend here. Do you like to introduce yourself?
Hello there. I'm Roger, and we're glad to have you here.
So we have a interesting topic that has been brought to our attention, the American identity.
American identity? You woke me up for this? Who would even want to talk about that?
I think what you mean to say is how excited you are to be talking about the American ethos.
Of course. Well, right, we'll go with that.
So, throughout America's history, there has persisted a difference between the rich and poor.
From the Industrial Revolution to modern day, the two ends of the economic ladder have been at odds with each other.
The wealth gap has only grown across the eras, resulting in tensions among the American people.
Of course, and today we'll be addressing this enduring issue.
So, Roger, have you ever read The Great Gatsby before?
I mean, who hasn't? For those who haven't read the book, it's about some bum who's incredibly rich and incredibly obsessed with a girl who he can't have.
Exactly. It's a great example of the differences between the upper and lower classes.
There's an overlying theme of the river that is between the Valley of Ashes and the higher class neighborhoods.
The contrast between the poor working class in the Valley of Ashes, characterized by pollution and poverty, and the lavish mansions in the two eggs, really show the extreme differences in quality of life between the rich and poor.
Must suck to be poor.
Yeah, and what's worse was social mobility was very difficult. It was very hard to move up the social ladder.
Speaking of, some did actually try to move up the economic ladder.
Really?
Yeah, there was Myrtle Wilson. She lived in the Valley of Ashes and had relations with Tom Buchanan.
Wait, weren't they both married?
Yep, they were.
Yikes.
So anyways, Myrtle, who saw this incredibly rich man, decided she wanted a piece of that pie.
Didn't they have their own secret apartment or something?
I heard Tom actually owned that building.
Oh.
So essentially, Tom used his vast wealth and developed opportunities to, exploit the poor.
And so things didn't end too well for Myrtle, did they?
Suppose not.
Yeah, Gatsby ended their dreams rather quickly with vehicular manslaughter.
Oh boy.
And what's worse is Gatsby didn't even own up to it.
So what you're telling me is that the rich try not to take responsibility for their actions? That's crazy.
Spot on. Instead, he tried to run away with Daisy, but met George Wilson's wrath.
To translate, George slammed him out.
So basically, the Great Gatsby represents the carelessness of the rich while the poor suffer.
Excellent analysis. All right, moving on. Another piece of literature is The Circle.
Oh yeah, The Circle. That amazing book.
Right, that amazing book, of course.
Wasn't it about this girl who got a new job in this huge company? I forgot what it was called, but
I think it was called the Square or whatever. I don't really remember.
Yeah, that might be it. Well, anyway, this girl May, she starts living with her parents while her father battles MS.
Yeah, and what happens after?
Well, she gets a job at the Triangle after her friend put in a good word.
Wait a minute, isn't this showing how she made her way up the economic ladder?
Well, yeah, she went from humble beginnings to climbing nearly to the top of the largest company in the world.
So how does this explain the difference between rich and poor?
Well, it might sound all sunshine and rainbows, but there's a catch.
Like 22 of them?
What?
Never mind.
Anyways, had she not meant a connection inside, she might have never gotten that job.
Seems like success in this case requires a lot of networking.
Yeah, it's a rare anomaly.
So this doesn't happen often in the world, does it?
Yeah. After she gets this job, her dad is offered advanced healthcare that helped him with MS.
So what you're telling me is without the support of the hexagon and their bottomless pockets, her dad wouldn't have the healthcare he needed?
Exactly. It shows how the rich are entitled to basic things like healthcare while the poor are not.
That's outrageous.
Well, after making her way around the block, some would say, May gets into an influential position at the Octagon and learns a bit more of how they operate.
Right, how they operate. They're a technology-based company that eventually developed to control and survey the masses.
Wait, they did what?
You heard me right. The rich and powerful company controls and designates the future for the poor.
That represents a conflict between the two economic extremes.
All in all, I think as a nation, we'd like to think ourselves as the land of opportunity and how the American dream is possible for anyone to achieve.
Both The Circle and Great Gatsby demonstrate that this isn't always the case.
The Circle, showing how being rich gives you power to control others, including the poor.
And Gatsby, showing that the struggle to move up the social ladder and the avoidance of rich from responsibilities.
Well, I think that's enough of that.
Yeah, I'm not even sure anyone's awake.
You know what Icarus did as he fell?
What?
He laughed, for he knew to fall means to once have soared.
That is very profound.
Sure is.
Well, we'll see y'all next on the Bearded Buyer Podcast.
I once got lost climbing Mount Everest, so I asked a man where we were. He showed me this video, and then I knew we had reached the peak. Isn't that showing how
There's gotta be cuts we can make, so it's like not
the girl who can't have?
exactly. It's a great example of the difference between. Dude, I can't.
The Industrial Revolution to the modern day. I just can't see anything.
Okay, so.
Hello?
What's up? That's up. Let's go. How's it going?
Hello.
Actually on.
Check. Check.
Hey, how are you doing?